The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 2024 summer edition of The Local Show. I'm your host, Tom Soccocio Jr., along with my friend and co-host, Steve Roberts. The Local Show features conversations about local businesses. We talk to the business owners, CFOs, CEOs, entrepreneurs, nonprofits, business advocates, other business-friendly organizations. They're all here on The Local Show. We're going to find out how they got into business and why they do business right here in Syracuse, New York, and where their businesses might be going in the future. You're going to hear all about their successes, their challenges, opportunities, marketing, and advertising. We're broadcasting from the Zoey Advertising Studios, sponsored by Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and you can also see us on YouTube, which means you get a good eyeful of Steve. That'll wake you right up.
Well, that's very nice of you to say.
That's like taking Folgers straight on.
No, again, I've said it before. I'm like that thing on your mirror that says objects are larger than they appear.
Yes.
People talk to me, and I get it, and they look, they go, wow, you're really tall. Yeah, I am.
Yes, you're very tall.
Yeah. Big footprint, right, Tom? Big shadow. Is that what you said?
That's what I say. You cast a big shadow.
Yes. Well,
you know what's difficult in the summertime?
Putting up with you?
Is trying to grow grass. You would think growing grass is easy.
I don't have those problems, Tom.
No, you don't. And I don't mean grass like all these new shops that are opening up. I'm talking like, where the dogs have done their duty and it browned, and then I've had to dig it up and grow some new grass there. It takes forever for that stuff to seed.
Why don't you just rake it and let it take care of itself? Why do you got to be chasing the dog spaces around?
In my neighborhood, you have to keep up with the Joneses.
That's true. In the gated community, at the pastures in Cicero, you have to have a certain status.
Yes.
Of course, I live in an apartment in Clay.
Right.
And they do
Which
all
is still
of those
very
things.
nice.
It's very nice, but they do all
nice.
those things and chlorinate the pool and do the lawn and shovel the snow, and it's all good.
You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. Hey, look, we got a great show for you, folks. I hope you'll stick around for the whole 2 hours. Elizabeth Dunbar is stopping by. She's the executive director and CEO of the Everson Museum. Matt Mallory, the owner of PS and Ed and Mallory Unlimited. He'll stop by, give us his take on things. Ryan Novak is the owner of the Chocolate Pizza Company, and he's rather famous, actually, for as far as being an entrepreneur is concerned. Paul Valco is the treasurer and past president of Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society, otherwise known as STARS.
There we go.
So they, put the planes up there. That's,
That's right up my alley.
Up your
some
alley,
fun there.
Chris Flaherty stops by, president and CEO of ClearPath for Veterans. Frank Malfitano, executive director of the National Grid Syracuse International Jazz Festival, will stop by. We'll drop a lot of names together there, of course. And then attorney John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and Ben Eberhardt is the co-director of Mid-Lakes Navigation over there on Skaneateles Lake. So all of that on the Local Show today. But right now, we greet Elizabeth Dunbar. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for being here for the first time, and maybe the only time.
People get sick of us quick. We're an acquired taste.
Yeah, there you go. How long have you been at the Everson?
I have been at the Everson almost 10 years.
Oh, really? That long, huh?
Yeah.
Well, the last time I think I was there, I was a lot younger. I hate to say that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, because it's a jewel in our community, and I think sometimes people just kind of float by it and say, oh, we got this Everson Museum. Why not go inside, right?
I hear that a lot, and I think people forget that we have about 20 changing exhibitions every year.
Incredible,
so
yeah.
Every time you come in, there's something new to see. So don't think that it's a stay.
Right, like a static thing.
I didn't forget. I didn't know.
Oh, well, now you know.
There you go. Now you know, right?
And there's a difference, right? There's a difference. So 20 changing exhibits a year, that's like all the time.
That's like all the time. Yeah, our staff is really busy moving and shaking all the time. And on top of that, we've also got a number of classes, activities, summer camps,
that's something.
film nights, you name it. We've got it going on.
What's going on now?
Oh, wow. Well, we just opened a new exhibition and of new acquisitions for the museum. So we're constantly out there looking for new art to bring into our collection. Mm-hmm. So we're showing off some of that, plus some some amazing treasures from the collection. So some new things, some old things. We have a great show right now by Natasha Smoke Santiago. She's an indigenous artist, and brand new work showing that off.
Wow, that's pretty cool. What did you do before this?
I've been in the museum world for, hard to believe, 25 years.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put you past 25.
She started
much,
when she
know?
was 10, Tom.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you've been in this kind of art world. Do you have to be an artist yourself, or just appreciate it? Or
Well, definitely have an appreciation for art is important if you're working in an art museum. But I would say museum directors come from different backgrounds. There are folks with MBAs who come from more of the marketing side or from the development side. Myself, I, by training, am an art historian and
that's cool.
have degrees in art history and museum studies.
See, that's what I would think of an art director, is having that kind of background.
Right.
I mean, of course, the only art director, or the museum directors I know is through Night at the Museum with Ben Stiller.
It's just like that at the Everson. When the lights go off, you never know what happens.
Yeah. So do you bring anything like really from far away to Syracuse, like King Tut's tomb or something like that?
The Everson is a modern and contemporary art museum with a focus mainly on American art, with the exception of our ceramics collection, which is encyclopedic and global. But we do bring in things from further afield. And in fact, this coming winter, next January, actually, we'll be bringing in an exhibition from the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts, which is masterpieces from their collection. So some really well-known works of American art to share with our community.
So, Tom, there's something you probably don't know.
No, I don't.
But I had work that hung at the Everson.
Really, in the basement?
No.
Where?
Back in the day, a long, long time ago, Scholastic Art Competition.
Okay.
1979, 1980, my photography won some stuff. And I had several things that they used to show them there. Do they still do that?
We do still indeed showcase Scholastic Silver Key winners at the Everson. But we also work with a number of nonprofit organizations to showcase artwork. We work with Arise.
Yes, very good.
Their annual unique exhibition is always at the Everson in August. And we also work with a lot of different organizations like the VA hospital. We often work with them to showcase work from veterans, as well as we have an ongoing, I think we're in the 50th year or close to the 50th year of On My Own Time, which is...
I remember that.
Yeah. Nice. So in addition to the exhibitions that we're producing and curating, we work with community partners to present work by community members.
The Christmas tree thing still a thing?
Yes. Well, we call it the annual Festival of Light, Festival of Trees and Light.
Here at the local show, we call it the Christmas tree thing. And briefly, what happens then?
So in December, we've got about 2 weeks where the museum is full of lights and decorations and performances. We have an auditorium full of performances by community groups, a cappella groups, choirs, school groups. Nice. So the museum is full of excitement and people and fun.
I've been there. It's lovely. Thank you, Elizabeth. Everson.org.
That is
all
correct.
The info and what's going on the latest, Tom.
Absolutely. Come on down.
Excellent. Have a great rest of the day, okay?
Thank you.
All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Matt Mallory. He's the owner of PS and Ed and Mallory Unlimited. We'll find out what he does and how it affects you right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Stick around.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back into it and back at it again. Welcome to The Local Show with Tom and Steve. Happy summer. It's just gorgeous out there. A week away here from Father's Day. You know, Steve, I think I'm going to go up to that car show that I used to go to all the time and show my Mustang. I think it's by the Prison City Ramblers out there in Auburn at Emerson Park. And they have a huge Father's Day car show. And it's on a Wasco.
You're going to show your car?
No, and thanks for reminding me. No, I used to show the car.
I'm going to, Matt, I'm going to, I'm like, what you
I heard that too. I used to show the car.
Don't you park it next
to show?
You park it next to your swimming pool, don't you?
And I don't have a car, and I have nothing to speak of. But my kids are trying to say,
too?
Yeah, yes, it's because I'm married. And what are you going to do, right? You can't have toys all the time. So I think I'm going to go, though, because it's just so huge, and it's really nice out there. Emerson Park is beautiful. Well, you've gone out to Owasco Lake because you have a friend who lets you use his boat and stuff. Yeah,
I have a friend. That's the key point, right?
Yeah,
there.
well, the friend of convenience. And, it's all good. So I'm looking forward to Father's Day, I think, because we have pictures of when I used to show the car of the kids being, they were babies and, young, and they would be sitting in the car.
Was it a nice car?
Yes, it was very nice.
So we're going to go down to that winery down at Fairhaven.
Oh, yeah, Coloca Winery.
There's a clam bake.
Oh, is it? For Father's Day?
Yeah, and my brother-in-law, sister-in-law, Junior, we're going to go out there.
Nice, yeah.
And they were talking about it, and we got tickets and everything, so that's...
Will Nate be home at all? Or
no, Nate, for people that don't know, that's my Air Force son.
Yeah.
No.
No, just no. Okay.
The short version is
fine.
no.
I just know that I figured out what I'm doing on Father's Day. I'm going to a car show and I'm going to a clam bake.
You're going to do both.
Whose voice is that, Tom? Who is that third voice in the room?
Matt Mallory has joined us. He's the owner of PS and Ed and Mallory Unlimited. How are you there, Matt?
Awesome, gentlemen. Thanks for having me.
So tell people what you do over there on the complex out in Lafayette.
The compound.
the compound. We do so much. So we've got a hobby farm, chickens and bees, and a garden, fruits and vegetables. Contemplating adding goats this year, which would be kind of fun.
Yes.
We've got an Airbnb. We rent out to RV and then a guest house we call the Lodge.
Nice.
And then do training. That's my primary income, is teach classes to people all over the country.
To do what?
Everything: rifle, pistol, shotgun, defensive tactics, taser, pepper spray, mindset, you name it. I teach about 100 courses 300 times a year all over the country.
Can Tom take his boat course from you?
Yeah, I do boater ed, driver ed.
You do boater ed too?
Hunter ed.
Wow.
Yeah, I do it all.
You're the ultimate outdoorsman.
Yeah, self-preservation instructor, as I like to call myself.
Yeah.
So he has a bunker, Tom.
We won't talk about it.
Well, I'm just saying. Those go together.
You don't tell people that you eat raw liver and everything and then take steroids behind the scenes, right?
Not the Liver King, and we don't talk about Bruno. I mean, bunkers.
That's funny. Tell people about, pistol permits and things like that. It's been hard to get one here in New York State.
It's kind of always been a false statement in some sense. It's harder. It was harder in New York City.
Gotcha.
Upstate, it wasn't as hard depending on the county you lived in. Mm-hmm. And if hard would be, okay, you'll get a license, but it'd have a sportsman restriction, which New York State law never had sportsman anything in the law. The judges, the licensing officers in the upstate counties would just say, okay, well, I can't deny you because you don't have a criminal history, but or you don't have a bad criminal history. You had a DUI when you were a kid, so I'm going to give you a sportsman because I really don't want you out in public with a gun. Well, that was never law. That was kind of crappy that the judges were doing that, but they did. Now, because of the new Bruin decision in 2022. Proper cause is gone. So you didn't have to have a valid reason to have it.
Used to be people say, well, I carry cash or I own a business, and that's what that was all about.
That would be that proper cause.
So then they could prove that they need it. Yeah. Does that does that contradict the Second Amendment in any place?
It does. So a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. I don't see licensing or anything in that statement, and that's the Second Amendment. So yeah, you're right. And that's why we won in the Bruin decision in the Supreme Court, and that they got rid of that. But then New York State, literally the next month, July, voted into law the CCA, Concealed Carry Improvement Act. They changed the name of proper cause basically to good moral character. So now instead of having a reason, now the judge can have a reason to deny you. So one person can make a decision whether you get Second Amendment rights or not.
Okay.
Which is also junk.
When I grew up, a lot of people, of course, I grew up in the valley, so maybe all bets were off. But, back then when somebody had their Bronco or, their, whatever,
right?
They had a shotgun in the back.
Yeah, right in the back.
You could carry the shotgun around. Can you not do that anymore?
Yeah, it's not advisable to do that, especially now with the new CCA law. It's supposed to be out of sight from outside the vehicle.
Really?
So, yeah, and I always say, too, that glass only keeps good people honest. So if the only thing between the outside world and your guns is glass, it's not really locked up. And I have breakfast and lunch and whatnot with judges, DAs, and sheriffs on a constant basis annually.
Yes.
And they've all told me that the thing they hear the most and the thing they hate to hear is guns got stolen out of vehicles. So you got to keep that.
Yeah,
stuff
Tom.
locked up.
Everybody.
Right.
How many friends had a truck, a gun rack, and
in
the school
It was
park?
just kinda
I mean,
normal.
it was just that was normal.
And the display case with glass.
Oh, yeah,
with
yeah.
guns
And
in
you can
it.
see the guns. Yes.
Which doesn't pass muster anymore.
Oh,
either.
no, that's not. So if you have a rifle or a shotgun, can you carry it in the bed of your truck in a case, in a locked case?
The ideal way to do it, and in my classes, I'll
Yeah.
tell people get a hard-sided case that can lock, and then secure it to the vehicle with like a bike cable and padlocks.
Right.
And then out of sight, put a blanket over it, put a shade, privacy shade, or in the trunk where people can't see it.
Tonneau cover.
Right,
covering
exactly.
up.
Just something to obscure the view, but then make sure it's secured to the vehicle.
So-
because if they break in and steal it, well,
Right.
then now you got to explain how it got stolen, and you don't want that in bad guys' hands.
Gotcha. So it's okay to have those long guns, but you can't have a pistol hidden, like a
No, that'd be concealed. That's fine. That's
Okay.
fully legal. Yeah. So if you have it on you, a handgun on you for self-defense, have it loaded around in the chamber ready to go because you need it at a moment's notice. But if you take that gun off of you, the handgun, or you're not using the rifle or the shotgun,
Yes.
then unloaded and locked up so that somebody can't take it when it's not in your possession.
So what's the perception? Open carry, conceal. Some states are. Why do some people think one is better than the other or different? Explain this.
So think of Wild Wild West days, right? Back in the day, everybody walk around with a gun.
Yes.
And everybody knew how to use the gun. And you wouldn't dare walk up and touch their gun. That's like getting on somebody's motorcycle. Unless they give you permission. The death sentence. So back then, everybody was really proficient with a firearm because it was the way of life. They needed it for self-defense against four-legged animals, yes, but also two-legged animals, humans. Right? It had nothing to do with hunting. You like my shirt? Second Amendment.
Oh yeah.
Bear is not about hunting.
Yeah,
Second
yeah.
Amendment's not
that
about
shirt
hunting.
makes great radio, Matt.
Well, you can see it on the YouTube.
See it on the YouTube channel.
So,
Go ahead.
so that being said, nowadays open carry is kind of like the shotgun in the back window. People are despicable, morals and ethics gone down the crapper. So you're not going to do that. You also should. I personally am not a big fan of open carry because bad guys see your gun. They're not going to walk up and go, "Hey, I want your gun. Give it to me." Right. They're going to walk up and hit you with a 2x4 when you're not looking. And then take
the gun, yeah.
So open carry, yes, it's legal in some states. If people do it and then it's legal, whatever, do your thing. Personally, I don't want a bad guy know where my gun is. Right. If they're going to attack me, I want that ace in my pocket where they don't know where it's at because that might be my lifesaver.
So once again, let's rifle through all the things that you do with our last 30 seconds here so people can get in touch with you.
I appreciate that. So predominantly is teaching, rifle, pistol, shotgun, self-defense, voter ed, driver ed, all that stuff, all up on the PSN Ed, public safety and education.com website. Mallory Unlimited is our primary company where we've got everything listed. The next thing would be the rentals, the Airbnb rentals. We have the property with a stock pond, waterfalls, and 23 acres people can visit with the bees and the chickens, and you could feed the chickens, feed the fish in the pond, et cetera, and the fruits and vegetables. Those are the main two.
So all that stuff, MalloryUnlimited.com. Yep. They can find out if they want to take a class, need to learn something, or just ask a question. 567-9268.
That's it.
So 567-9268, MalloryUnlimited.com.
Have a great rest of the day, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Okay, coming up next, Ryan Novak. He's the owner of the Chocolate Pizza Company right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found the place to be on your weekend. It's right here with Tom and Steve on The Local Show, where you'll learn all about local businesses, what's going on in the world of entrepreneurship, and also people with family businesses. You'll learn the lineage and how they got into business, why they're doing business right around Syracuse, New York. And then we talk to some other types of businesses, too, that are, more like supportive businesses, nonprofit type places. So we do all of that right here on The Local Show. A sponsor of the show has been Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. They've been an advocate of ours, or they just feel sorry for Steve. Either one. But it was nice of them to support us.
Well, here's what happens. They they're on the show, and of course we run their commercials, all that kind of stuff. But they really do help people.
Yes.
They're local. If you haven't protected your home and life savings, talk to them and have it done, because it's not protected.
Absolutely.
If your will's 45 years old, geez, that's probably too old. Have a conversation. They don't charge to have a conversation. 370-9977, safeharbor.willsandtrust.com. Tom?
Very nice. I hope they help you out right out of the studio.
There we go.
Okay. All right. Coming up next is Ryan Novak. Ryan, how are you? You're the owner of the Chocolate Pizza Company, huh?
Very good. Yes, I am.
All right. So tell us your story. Are you a Syracuse native?
I am. So I grew up here in Marcellus, New York.
Oh, Marcellus. Yeah.
Graduated from high school there.
They have a very nice high school. I hear great things about it.
Facility.
You can fish near there. I know that.
Yeah,
I was just
fishing.
at the
9
golf
Mile
course.
Creek.
Yeah.
Yep. There's Sunset Ridge and
Sunset
Tuscarora
Ridge.
as well.
Yes. Yeah, very nice.
So just a beautiful area. I graduated from high school there. Worked at this small business called Chocolate Pizza. Bonnie Haniak owned it. It was a small chocolate company in the village of Marcellus.
So you started working there?
So I started working when I was 15. Yeah.
Oh, no
I
kidding.
started as a dishwasher, cleaning the floors. I kind of just went to her at 15 and said, "Hey, is there anything I can do? I just want to. I'd like to have a job. I'd like to see what I can do." And she was wonderful. She took me in. She gave me a job when she really didn't have one for me. I kind of worked my way into it. Was doing the dishes, cleaning the floors, learning about chocolate from Bonnie. She was telling me lots of things about her business and how she evolved from a gift basket business to this chocolate pizza concept.
Right.
I graduated from Marcellus. I went to Syracuse University. I was a place kicker on the football team.
No kidding.
Yep. So I played under Coach Robinson.
Yeah, man.
And then
did you see any game time?
I did not. No.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I did not get to play.
Well, that's why you got all your bones in the right place.
It was an amazing experience. I got a ton of great friends from there. And
that's awesome,
big fan
man.
of the Orange, so that's a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And then so going into my senior year, Bonnie was getting ready to retire.
Yeah,
She said, I had told her for years, if there was ever an opportunity, I'd love to take this business over.
Right.
I just thought the concept of chocolate pizza was the coolest thing ever.
Sure.
So from there, going into that senior year, she said, "Hey, Ryan, I think this is the right time. I need to move on with my life, and I'd love to sell you chocolate pizza." Went to a couple different banks. Everybody said, "You're 21 years old. You've got $1,000 in your bank account. Good try."
Did you try to use the place kicker thing? Hey,
I was like,
place
"Hey,
kicker, man."
I had an article written about me once, and they're like, "Oh no, it doesn't matter." And I was able to work a deal out with her where I paid her out over a few years.
Yeah.
With the
Wow, how
profits from the
about that?
business. So she helped us out tremendously to make that deal work.
Okay.
And then from there, we just started growing.
How long ago was that?
That was 2010. I
Oh,
bought
okay.
the business. Yeah, so I was 21 years old.
Yeah.
Really had no idea what I was doing. That first year, one thing my parents said is I had to finish my degree. If I wanted to buy chocolate pizza, I still had to get that Whitman degree.
Yeah, sure.
So that
you were in the Whitman school.
I was in the Whitman school.
Well, that's
yes.
you got to be smart to be in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So then,
Steve, they won't even let him in the door to sit in the lobby.
I spelled Whitman wrong.
He can't even sit in those chairs.
So from there, I used that experience, and that first year was just a back and forth of running up to Whitman, finishing my classes, coming back home, trying to run a chocolate business, really having no idea what I was doing.
But still listening to your parents.
But still listen to what they said.
That's
I
great.
made sure I got that degree. And from there, we just started growing.
Now, did you have to go back to school to be a chocolatier or get any extra education in that?
No.
world?
So Bonnie pretty much shared all the experience she had with chocolatiering from there. Read a lot of books, watched a lot of YouTube videos, different things about chocolatiering, and kind of learned by mistakes and adding new products.
And I knew
finishing
Bonnie,
things off.
Tom, back in the 80s, the late 80s.
Sure.
The company was called A Touch of Spice.
Correct.
And they were in the old Crown Mill in Marcellus. And she was doing gift baskets and some chocolate stuff. In the I guess they had to put elevator in the building there. The town made them do it, and they said, "Well, we can't," and then they knocked the building down. Right, so the building's not there anymore. But just a nice, just a real kind soul,
a wonderful person,
and what a fabulous mentor for you.
She has been fantastic for me.
So now, you being a young man, how old are you now?
I'm 35.
So 35, still relatively young, and you've been in this business a while. What initiatives are you taking to bring things up into the modern world here?
So the first big thing is we added color to our products. So we added colorful candies. We do happy birthdays. We do company names, things like that. We customize the pizza.
YouTube listeners can see this chocolate pizza here with what looks like M&Ms on it, though I don't know that they're actually M&Ms. They're chocolate.
They're candied gems.
Candied gems that look like M&Ms. And so selling online and all that.
Yeah, so we have chocolatepizza.com was we started that pretty much right when I started, and from there that's really our largest source of income right now. We sell we shipped all 50 states. We shipped to 17 countries last year.
Wow.
Christmas time is our busiest time, so we do a lot of holiday gifts, online gifts.
Is it difficult to get it into other countries?
We use the UPS World Ship platform's pretty easy.
Okay.
So we have to fill out some documents for each one, and then they blast them out for us.
Gotcha. Okay.
So we'll fill up 3 UPS trucks a day in the holidays. So they'll back their trucks up, we'll fill them up, and we'll ship somewhere between 1,000 to 2,500 packages a day in the holiday season.
Goodness gracious, that's huge.
So,
and you're making all of that
everything's
right
made
out of
right
Marcellus.
But then you get the rest of the year off.
I wish. Then
It's not like Santa Claus.
And then we got Easter, and then Mother's Day, and then Father's Day.
So it's kind of like a florist schedule back in the day. Is it?
Yeah,
it kind of ties to that.
And then July and August will be a little bit of downtime where we can kind of recover and get ready for the next.
And it's not just the pizza, right? It's all different types of chocolate. Right. Talk about all the different products.
Yeah, so we have about 150 different items.
Goodness.
So our peanut butter wings are a potato chip with peanut butter dipped in chocolate.
Very
Those are really our top selling product. Food Network featured them on 2 of their shows.
Yes. And is that high in protein, low in carbs?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Very good.
So with those shows, it really just made those products pop, and then we ship those out every day all over the country. So that's really put our mark out there.
Amazon, the elephant in the room, are you part of that? Do you go around that? How's that work?
We do. We sell our pizza, one of our pizzas and our wings on Amazon just to keep our presence there.
Yeah.
Because we're the trademark owners of chocolate pizza. So we went out and trademarked it. So we're the only ones who can actually do a chocolate pizza or a peanut butter wing. So we have to have a presence on Amazon just to ensure our trademarks stay up to date.
Very nice. Yeah. You were written up in Forbes magazine, weren't you?
Very fortunate about that. Yes.
Yeah. Tell me about that.
Yeah, they just reached out looking for a little bit of our business success story, going from just a young kid running a business and then all of a sudden sending thousands of packages, being on the Food Network, on Hallmark Show, different things like that.
Golly.
So it was neat to talk with them and get that story out there of just a young kid kind of just learning as we go. Made a lot of mistakes along the way, but
a lot of gifts. Is gifts the biggest?
Huge. Gift giving is our huge
Gifting
thing.
is the big deal.
Yeah.
So someone can, at chocolatepizza.com. So you got the domain. You kind of own you're the Kleenex of tissues here, yes?
That's right. You need a gift, we send it to you.
Okay. And you take care of it all.
We do.
It's simple. And that's where Amazon makes it simple. You make it simple too.
We make it very simple. We can have anything to you the next day, the day after. If you need a specific date, we'll ship it out.
Do you have a chocolate product that has no carbohydrates in it?
Sugarless stuff?
We do, we sell sugar-free as well. Yeah, sugar-free chocolate.
But the sugar tastes better, let's be honest.
That's wonderful, Ryan. What a story. We could talk to you forever, and I know now that you've met Steve, you don't want to talk forever.
Oh, come on, Tom.
Don't go running too far. Ryan Novak right there, the owner of the Chocolate Pizza Company. Thank you so much for stopping by.
Thanks for having me. This is so much fun.
Excellent. Good on you, man. Chocolate Pizza Company, or actually chocolatepizza.com. All right. Paul Valco is coming up next. He's the treasurer and past president of Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society, otherwise known as STARS, right here on The Local Show on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
You found The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. And of course, do not forget that we are on YouTube, so you can go over there and see all the past programs as well. You might find somebody that you were looking for and say, oh, geez, this person was on.
Remember the ad council campaign, See It on the Radio?
Yeah, See It on the Radio.
I loved that because you picture it. And did you used to listen to radio dramas, Tom?
I did, yeah.
Like Chicken Man or before it or after? What did you listen to?
Well, I used to listen to, what's his name, Garrison Keillor.
Okay.
And he was on National Public Radio and had that whole town there, you know. And
remember the sound effects record, like the first, because this was your world more than mine, but it was like, you know, it would like cut number 7, creaking door, and you would try to drop that into something.
Yes, that was fun.
It was fun. So now we just we don't do that. We just talk to people.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's right. Yeah, everything's talk. Podcasts and video and everything. It just and being more natural, you know, that's the hardest transition for me is to be just natural. I mean, I was always natural when you're interviewing somebody, right? But nowadays it seems like the more relaxed and the more unprofessional you are, the more views you get.
Which explains my success.
Which is why you're on with me. That's right.
Because you really are. I mean, you're polished.
Yeah, it's hard to not, you know, be. So right now, that's why I'm just like, just to do that for myself, to say, see, it's okay to do that now.
People know, and I hear it all the time, Tom, that guy. That was called that guy. Guy does a good job. I'm like, yeah, that's Tom. So Tom, who's this guy sitting next to me?
Paul Valco is his name, yes. Treasurer and past president of the Syracuse Thunderbirds Aero Radio Society, otherwise known as STARS. How are you there, buddy?
I'm doing good. How you doing, Tom?
Good, man. So explain where you came from, what you did professionally, and what got you into this type of hobby.
Okay, I'm a computer programmer.
Okay.
I grew up in Marcellus and went out to Rochester, and then I moved back in 2006. And I've always been interested in aircraft and helicopters and stuff like that. And,
I gotcha.
You know, I had a couple of family members involved with doing RC flying and that kind of thing.
RC standing for radio control. Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So I got out of college, came back, had a little bit of money to play with, so I started getting into it that way.
And you still work full time?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I work from home for the most part.
And you're still a programmer?
Yep.
Okay, great. So explain to people what this hobby is and what the organization's all about.
So yeah, I'm like I said, I'm past president of STARS. I've been with the club, I don't know, 10 years, a little over 10 years.
So
now.
it's a flying club.
Yeah, it's a flying club up in Pennville. It's a little bit east of Phoenix.
Gotcha.
Just north of Euclid Restaurant.
Right.
There
Yeah.
All right. So what are you flying?
I started off with helicopters. Helicopters was my main thing. But, you know, now I do airplanes and all that stuff. At the club, we do airplanes, helicopters, drones. There's also some people involved with control line. If you remember
Yes,
way
I do,
back in the day,
yes.
it used to be called U-Control.
Yeah, it was like flying a kite, but
Exactly.
the plane is tethered to it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like two steel lines with a handle, and you're going around in a circle with it.
Way back when, 'cause I'm 60 years old, so I remember when I was 15, 14, I got into balsa wood planes. Is that what these are, the balsa wood?
It can be,
Okay.
for sure. There's still people that build from kits or even plans, and they'll cut out the wood themselves.
Yeah, that was so fun. Yeah.
Yep, that's definitely done still. There's also kits. They kind of come pre-cut for you, and you have to build them that way. And then
you put like a paper mache over the balsa wood, and then you have to paint it with like an acrylic or something, and it tightens up. And
yeah, you could do it that way. There's also like plastic heat shrink type coatings and stuff like that. A lot of the stuff these days, they've moved on to foam models for a lot of stuff. So you kind of build them. They're largely, assembled. All you do is kind of like major assembly, put the wings on, put the tail on, and you're up and flying within an hour.
I like the assembled part, Tom.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine me. It's like, I'm not crafty.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But I do like to fly. I have my 107 for the drone that we have, and so does Brad here. So we can do that commercially.
Yep.
With the Mavic with the Hasselblad camera attached to the top does a great job. Has the drones moved into your space? Is everybody flying a drone now?
Not really. There was maybe 5 years ago. There was a big kind of rush. DJI is kind of a big name in the drone industry. So people are starting to get into that, and there was kind of a big mainstream push toward that. But that kind of fizzled out to a large degree. It's still very popular for professionals and people still wanting to get into it, but for the hobbyist part of it, it's still, at least for our club, it's still the airplanes.
You guys are doing more tricks and things too, right? You're not just flying straight. like you
would.
It
depends. There's a lot of guys that they don't know how to do the tricks, so they're just kind of flying around in a circle, and they might do a loop here and there, that kind of thing. Yeah. But there are some people in our club that are very good. They call it 3D flying, where you can hover the plane off the prop. You're just hanging it around, doing all kinds of.
So Tom has a question he was afraid to ask, so I'm going to ask it.
All right.
So tell us about your biggest accident. With most expensive.
That's all, Steve.
Most expensive. Oops.
My biggest accident? Let's see. Like I said, I'm in the helicopters. They tend to be a little bit more expensive than the airplanes.
Right. The original RC helicopters were complex.
Yeah, and they still are.
They have the tail rotor and the whole, and they're. I had looked at them years ago, thinking I could do aerial photography with them. Forget about that. It just doesn't work that well.
Yeah, especially back then. They're very hard to fly. They're easier to fly than they were, but they're still pretty difficult.
I see.
And so I've crashed a couple of them pretty bad. I just had one where I just kind of got back into helicopter flying after a few years off, and had an accident. Thing came in and it just destroyed it.
Are they salvageable the parts, or is it like we just write that
particular one? No, that was pretty much a write off. I'm going to pull out the electronics and start with a whole new kit for that one.
Steve had a nice DJI Inspire 1 that he put into a evergreen tree up at a golf course.
Okay, true story.
He didn't realize it didn't have brakes.
True story. I was flying a little aggressively, and then found myself in New York City picking another one to finish the job the next day. Went to New York, grabbed another one. But you do see, I see the reels where they have incidents sometimes, but also some of these things are so complex. The detail, and they've got to cost $15,000. Has to
tens of thousands of dollars in some of the very large models or some
really?
of the scale ones. If you get into doing jets, we do have a member that's into flying turbine jet.
No
model
kidding.
Aircraft. If you can get into that relatively cheap at a couple of grand, but it can go into tens of thousands.
Can people just go and watch?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So when do you fly, and when could people go if they wanted to see it?
So I mean, if you go to our website, seeingmystars.com, we have on that webpage, we have cameras there. If you see them there, come out and watch anytime. Okay. Yeah. Usually every Thursday we do flight training out there, so there's something going on there. Okay. Usually every weekend there's something going on, and then we do have a couple of kind of major events throughout the year.
Good for kids, adults. This is kind of an everybody thing, right?
Yeah, for sure. Flight training, we have 4 or 5 kids involved with it this year so far, and then we also train adults. So
great,
all ages.
That is amazing. So CNY Stars, builditflyit.com.
Yeah. Right. Thank you, Paul. You have a great rest of the day, okay?
Yeah, you too.
All right. Kicking off hour number 2 of the local show, we're going to have a conversation with Chris Flaherty, President and CEO of ClearPath for Veterans. Frank Malfitano stops by, Executive Director of the National Grid Syracuse International Jazz Fest, and then John Murphy, owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and finally Ben Eberhardt is the co-director of Mid Lakes Navigation, all in hour number 2. Stick around. It starts really soon.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. This is hour number 2 of the local show. Get ready for engaging interviews with Chris Flaherty, the president and CEO of ClearPath for Veterans. Frank Malfitano stops by. He's the executive director of the National Grid Syracuse International Jazz Fest. And then we've got John Murphy, the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts. And then finally, Ben Eberhardt, who is the co-director of Mid Lakes Navigation, all in hour number 2 on the local show. And that brings us to Chris Flaherty right now. He's the president and CEO of ClearPath for Veterans. How are you, my good man?
I'm doing very well, and thank you again for having us here.
Well, thank you for being here. We really appreciate that. Got a beautiful property up there in Chittenango. That is just so picturesque.
It really is. Just driving down the driveway, it gives a whole new sense of calm, not only for all of us on staff, but most importantly for the veterans and families that we serve. So,
how did you get involved with the organization? What's your background?
So I'm just a native son of Central New York. Grew up on the North Shore of Oneida Lake in the little village of Cleveland. Graduated from Central Square, and then went away to college on a Navy ROTC scholarship.
Oh, so you're really smart.
I don't know about that, but
what college did you go to?
I went to Duke, so please don't hold that against me.
Oh, my
Duke,
God.
Interview's over already. We're 30 seconds in, right? So.
That's okay. Boy, that must be hard, though, come game day.
Did you have a concussion? Is that why you went to do?
That's great.
So then I was commissioned to Navy right after graduation and served almost 28 years on active duty.
Wow.
And then when I retired in 2021, I came home and, returned to, I still live on the North Shore of Oneida Lake and back in Cleveland.
Back in Cleveland.
Nice. And my ClearPath story started at the very beginning. One of the inspirations of our co-founders was a young man, Army Sergeant Eddie Bolin, who was killed in Afghanistan in November of 2010. When he came home, he's buried just less than a mile from the property in Chittenango.
Okay.
I know the Bolin family, so I happened to be home on leave 2 weeks after we cut the ribbon on the facility, and Eddie's mom took me and introduced me to the co-founders, and as I like to say, I've never left. And so while I was on active duty, I served on the Veteran Advisory Council and the Board of Directors, and then I joined the staff when I retired.
What a beautiful property. What a beautiful view.
It is, yeah. It's a special place.
Right. So how long have you hated golf? Because you killed the golf course.
Well, we still look on it and think about it.
Give us a rundown of what services are provided through ClearPath for veterans.
ClearPath takes a very holistic, whole person approach, not only to the veteran themselves, but however they define family. That could be by blood, by marriage, or my next door neighbor who's like a brother or sister to me. So we do everything from across the full spectrum. We have an internationally accredited service dog program that helps those veterans who may struggle with post-traumatic stress or military sexual trauma or traumatic brain injury. Our frontline services our peer mentors who go and meet veterans wherever they are, be it on the street corner, at their dining room table, or any place in between, and just provide them with whatever they might need. That could be help with navigating the VA system. It could be housing insecurity, food insecurity, or let's just tell stories and be together. And same goes with family. We also help with career services, so helping not only help a veteran become career ready, but also partner with many of the companies that you feature here on your show and help them become veteran ready. So you bring that together.
So the VFW back in the day was kind of that camaraderie place. It became maybe, at least for non-veterans like myself, more of a place where you would rent the place or they would have a bar and have chicken lunches and dinners and things like that. So part of it is camaraderie, but part of it is functionality.
Exactly. And I think the best way to describe it is a sense of community. So, again, VFWs, they're in just about every community, same with American Legion posts. But what we feel ClearPath does in a unique way is build that sense of community so that it's open to everybody. And the way I like to describe it is people talk about the civil-military divide. You can't bridge that divide from one side or the other. You have to do it from both sides. So you're bringing the community together. And that goes back to our founding. We were founded by two sisters who had no military connection who partnered with a veteran. And that defines everything we do.
Yeah. Am I right in remembering when we interviewed your chef, what's his name again?
Chef Michael Sheets.
Yeah, Michael Sheets. Did he say that anyone can come up for a meal?
Exactly.
Like you don't even have to be a military person.
Correct. And it's about that sense of community. So every Wednesday, we host a complimentary luncheon. So on, Wednesday this past week, we will have hosted and provided over 300 complimentary meals. Unreal. And that's every Wednesday. So every week.
For who? Who is that complimentary for?
So that's for veterans, their families, and neighbors, the community at large, again, with the sense of coming together. So a little different than what your experience was at the VFW, where it was veterans together, and now it's everybody together at the same time.
Oh, wow. I think that's neat. So what did they have for dinner? What do they serve? Like, your chef's amazing. What do they do?
He is. He varies from week to week. Some weeks we'll have comfort food like tomato soup or sliders or something like that. Or other weeks we'll have a carving station of, pork loin and things like that. And so our culinary team puts out over 500 complimentary meals a week.
Okay, so tell us what you brought so YouTube listeners can see. What do we got here?
Yeah, compliments of Chef Mike and the team. You have some deep fried raspberry cheesecake with white chocolate drizzle.
Oh my gosh! Well, see, I'm sure there's no carbs or gluten.
No. This is
pretty incredible. Do you ever do anything with Tunnels to Tower?
We do. In fact, they have a race just recently that completed that will stop at Clear Path, and we honor the fallen. And again, it goes back to many of us, myself included, know those who have fallen. I mentioned Eddie Bolin, who is an inspiration. There's many Gold Star families here in Central New York, many of them that may be listening, where every day for them is Memorial Day.
Right. So Clear Path. Okay, so my son is just getting out of the Air Force. Well, sort of, kind of. He's going to go reserves. He's been in 4.5 years active and served overseas and stuff. So right now, one thing he doesn't have is a clear path. He doesn't know really what he's doing. So he's probably not alone in that. Is that fair?
That's very fair.
Okay, so how do you make the path clear?
And I think it is just by those connections that we were talking about. Those connections may form over food. They may form over dogs. They may form over this beautiful property we have. But it begins with a conversation and that shared experience where, say I meet your son and we just start talking. I was a Navy guy. He's an Air Force guy. But maybe we served in the same place, had the same experience, to find that connection. And then from that just simple conversation, we'll see where it goes. And that's where I think ClearPath is very unique too, in that you don't need anything to come to ClearPath. Okay. He served, just come and hang out. Come and enjoy the view. Come and grab a free meal.
Because he's confused. That is what he would need.
And you have peer mentors as well up there, right?
Right. And so all of our peer mentors are veterans themselves from all different years, all different experiences, so that we can make those connections and figure out, meet your son or meet any veteran where he or she may be, and then we'll go from there together.
Well, we hear great things about the organization, and we're glad that we can help you get your message out. Information at clearpath4vets.com. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So ClearPath for Vets, 687-3300. If you want to call and say, what's on the menu, or just ask questions. Thanks for coming.
No, thank you so much.
And please make sure you say thank you to Chef Michael for us, okay?
We will indeed. Thank you so much.
All right, Chris. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Frank Malfitano. He's the executive director of the National Grid Syracuse International Jazz Fest, and he's going to be right here on the local show on 570 WSYR. Don't go anywhere.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
We're back again, and that means that you are too. Thanks for joining Tom and Steve on The Local Show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM. This is my favorite segment of the day, believe it or not.
You like it when it gets towards the end when you don't have to look at me anymore.
There's
That's what I know. I don't know.
That's the first part. Okay. The second part is we're going to talk music and everything with an old friend, so I'm very excited about this. Frank Malfitano is joining us. He's the executive director of the National Grid Syracuse International Jazz Festival. SyracuseJazzFest.com if you want to follow along online. How you doing, Frank?
I'm doing great. It's great to see you guys. How are you?
How is it that you look younger all the time and I'm getting older?
Genetics. Genetics.
Yeah, I was going to say Tom's vision is fading, but I didn't do that. I wasn't going to say that, Frank.
I feel great, and I'm healthy, and I'm blessed, and I have a great marriage and a great wife, and Kathy Rowe, Kathy from the radio. And listen, I love doing the festival. I love Syracuse, and so it's a happy time for me.
How long has it been going on?
43 years.
Oh my gosh, 43.
Yeah. They gave us a few years off because of COVID.
And crap. Yeah. Now, tell me this: has it always been international?
No, it's more international this year. We have artists from Cuba and from Canada and I'm trying to think, Sweden.
Wow.
No. Yeah, so we really thought, this is a big deal festival. I mean, this is in the top 25 longest running festivals in the world.
No kidding.
And the top 15 longest running festivals in the U.S.
Jeez.
Oh, yeah. No, we really are. And so we've been around a long time. We're on the map. People know about us. And I thought, our reach is pretty global and the music is pretty global. So we should maybe change the name up a little bit.
One of my favorite artists is there. And when I used to play live, I remember Don Macenzio was our piano player, and he had a Fender Rhodes. And I used to sing that song, Gino Vanelli's song.
I Just Want to Stop?
No, the other one.
Living Inside Myself.
Yeah,
man.
Love that tune.
Well, Gino's great.
Yeah.
Gino's a gas, man.
How old is he now?
Well, he's younger than me.
Yeah, okay.
And maybe a little older than you.
Yeah.
But you know what? He's still at the top of his game.
Yeah, that's wonderful.
He just sold out a tour all over Europe, Steve. And, people don't know this. I think I want to share it, though, so everybody knows. Because we might have some Gino Vanelli fans out there.
Sure.
Hopefully a lot. Gino lost his wife.
Aww.
And they were married 40 years. God. And he said, Frank, I'm coming anyway.
Jeez.
And I mean, I love the guy, and I think he's one of the greatest vocalists we ever had. Yeah. And he's really pop,
Yeah,
I mean, he's a big time superstar. He used to sell out arenas, stadiums, So I mean, so I can't wait to hear all of his stuff.
When I Just Want to Stop was out there, I don't know where it charted, but it was all over AM radio. You couldn't turn on a radio.
And you sang it to him?
I sang that.
Awesome.
The one tune there. That was great. And
I just want to stop.
It wouldn't have been a hit if it sounded like
not if we sang
just
it.
to be clear.
Oh, no, we'd be done. That's a very good.
And then you've got one of the greatest guys around, Kenny G.
Kenny G is a superstar, man. He's a global icon. I mean, everybody knows him. Everybody loves him. Everybody's got his Christmas
ages.
Right. Kenny's a great guy, a great golfer. He's a scratch golfer, man.
Really?
He's a really great guy. I mean, I've had the chance to work with him. This will be the third or fourth time I've worked with him, and he's fantastic, man. I mean, he's a great entertainer.
Sure.
Should we give it away? Should we tell people? I don't know. He'll start out in the crowd, in the back of the crowd, and he'll work his way through the crowd.
How cool is that?
And he brings people up on stage. I mean, Kenny is the ultimate master entertainer. It's old showbiz, man, and I love that. He's got the American show business tradition. There's a little bit of Vegas in him,
right?
A little bit of Hollywood in him, but New York. But I dig that.
Yeah.
I dig that he's an entertainer.
Sure.
And he's a crowd pleaser.
Does he show up early enough to golf? Because we could get him over to Drummond's or something,
I asked him about that once. I was going to get him a club. I don't mess around. I stay away from his golf. I offered to have him at Bellevue or something. Some of the guys called me and they said, of course, they wanted to play with him. And I said, that's the bad news, right?
Right.
I said, you're going to let him have a free round at your club, but he has to play with you. I said, how much you going to pay him?
That's funny.
Better yet, how much you going to pay me?
Tell us about some of the local people that might be coming too.
Well, we've got programs in all of the clubs, and we've got 21 clubs downtown, but we got 26 of the best bands. We got 150 Syracuse jazz musicians working on opening night. And can I say Price Chopper?
You can say, absolutely. You say anything you want. Price Chopper show. Say what you want.
Thank you, man. Well, Price Chopper and Market 32 have been with us for about 30 years.
Great. Wow.
And they've been sponsoring this opening night thing, which has really gone gangbusters.
Yeah.
Every club is slammed in Armory Square, Hanover Square. I mean, packed to capacity, and people club hop. They go from joint to joint.
So the musicians will be in these individual clubs, not just out on the street or something.
No,
like
they're
that.
inside.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
We've got a couple of outdoor sets. One down at Salt City Market for a big band from Ithaca. They got 18 pieces.
Wow, man.
Yeah, and Joe Maggs is coming in. Ralph LaLama's coming in. Tish Oney's coming back from South Carolina to do a tribute to Sarah Vaughan.
I think I saw Rick Balestra, a guitar player. He's on there doing stuff.
Rick's going to be on the main stage with the SU Faculty Jazz Ensemble.
Wonderful, yeah.
That'll be on Saturday, June 29th, and he'll be up there with Gino Vanelli and the OJs.
Yeah.
How about the OJs?
That's awesome, man.
That's our last tour.
Is it really?
Last stop on the Love Train tour.
If their bass player gets ill, Tom will sit in for them just if they get in a pinch. Let's do that.
Tom, stand by. You never know.
Right?
That happened with Aretha Franklin. We had Aretha. Yes, her son is her guitar player, Teddy. Something happened. He missed a gig, and Mark Doyle wound up playing guitar for Aretha.
That's something else.
How's that?
That is something else.
He owes me for the rest of his life.
So give us the dates and when people can participate in this.
Well, so it's a 5-day festival. It starts on a Wednesday on June 26th. And then it continues on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night, June 27th, 28th, and 29th over at Clinton Square.
Sure. Okay.
At the Amazon stage.
Is there somebody always on the stage? So along with going into the clubs, is there always somebody on a main stage too, like music?
Well, we start at 4 o'clock on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and we run till 11 o'clock continuously.
Oh, yeah, that's beautiful.
Does that answer your question?
Yeah.
So there's always somebody playing. Yeah, we have 4 or 5 bands a night that are playing over at Clinton Square at the outdoor. I call it the outdoor stage.
That makes sense because that's the rest are clubs and it's the outdoor.
And
stage.
The club stages are great. And you know what? We have great bars and restaurants and taverns and gin mills in this town.
How about food for outside?
There is food outside. No, we have. We don't want to compete with the downtown restaurants. Because we want people to go to those and support those. You know, sometimes the festivals go down there and the restaurants are dead.
Right.
You know, it kills them. That. We don't want to do that because we like the restaurants and we like the bars and we're trying to support them. So we pay for the bands. Gotcha. Festival pays for the bands and our sponsors, you know, and that's a $30,000 night for us.
Sure.
But we think it's a great investment in downtown, and we love downtown, and we love the people who have based their businesses downtown, and we're just trying to help out, and they're helping us out, and it's really a good thing.
Yeah, that's all right. Now, how much does it cost to go there?
Free.
Oh, my gosh. All this for free?
Everything's free.
Good God.
This is great. You'll love this. Woman calls me up yesterday. She says, I hear you got, she had a very thick accent and she was from Buffalo.
No.
And she says, I'm driving in from Buffalo. I said, congratulations. I says, we're a couple hours down the road. She said, no, I know it's wonderful. She said, I got to check. Are you really having Kenny G? I said, yes. She said, how much are the tickets? I said, there are no tickets. It's free. She says, you're kidding. Even Kenny G is free. Right. I said, even Kenny G. She says, can I meet him?
Well, he might meet us over at Drumlin's. Maybe we'll play 18
You know
with
what?
him.
I'm going to extend the invitation, Steve, because you're a member. I'm going to see if he wants to play, and if he wants to, you know what? He might, and I'll tell you why. Coming from Lancaster, PA, and he's getting in a couple days early. So he might want to play around the golf.
It'd be fun.
Thank you so much. Frank Malfitano right there, Executive Director of the National Grid Syracuse International Jazz Fest. Thank you for bringing it here, please. Thank you.
It's my honor. I love Syracuse. I love the people of Syracuse. I love what you guys are doing in Syracuse. It's an honor to be here with you and talk about Jazz Fest. And thanks to the local show for having me on again.
You got it, brother. All right. Coming up next, we're going to talk with Attorney John Murphy. He's the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts right here on the local show on 570 WSYR 1069 FM.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Back into it and back at it. You found the Local Show, the last bastion of great talk radio, and where you can see Steve on YouTube. So
you're right, Tom. It's the last bastion.
It is. Well, it's good talk radio. There's lots of bastions out there. This happens to be the last bastion of the good stuff.
The local Saturday, Sunday.
That's right.
Yes,
we introduce you to all the greatest businesses around and all the entrepreneurs that make it happen in your area. So then you're able to compile a list and say, hey, let's go visit them and them and them. And
or maybe you hear some guests and go, yeah, I don't like them.
Well, or hosts. Or hosts, that's right. Well, hopefully not. I mean, you're paying for it.
No finger pointing.
That's right.
Do what you pay for.
Attorney John Murphy is with us right now. He's the owner of Safe Harbor Wills and Trusts, and he's an entrepreneur in his own right. Started a ways back, right?
I did, yeah.
And then you
seemingly forever ago
tiptoed into this area, which is, estate planning and wills and trusts, and that's very nice.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I tiptoed. I kind of ripped the bandage off of my old practice and then just jumped in. Yeah, moved my office, got rid of my staff, started over. When I moved in my first place, I found it was an infestation. Big, tall people.
Yes, that's right. Yes, that's where you met Steve, right?
Kind of
that was a dozen years ago, right?
We both started over at the same time.
Right.
From different places.
Yes. Steve, was that after his accident?
Way after.
Way after.
It was way after. Okay.
Yeah.
Now he's just an accident waiting to happen.
Yes. When he ran himself over with his own car.
Yes.
I still haven't figured that out.
That's for another show. Okay.
That's for a documentary series.
I really wish we had video of that.
I'm glad it amuses you, Tom. Hey, look, John Murphy's here. John, so you totally stopped doing everything as an attorney and said, I'm only going to do estate planning.
That's right.
Yes. Yep.
10 years ago, 12 years ago?
Gosh, yeah, we totally ripped off the bandage. I started down the path about 2001 after I failed miserably in helping my wife's grandmother get Medicaid. It was just the right time. I'm very fortunate. The universe kind of aligns for me if I pay attention, and it was a great time. 9/11 had happened. I was sick of helping people fight over custody and visitation with their kids, particularly after 9/11, right? It was just a good time for me to make that move. At that time, though, I was a sole support for 6 people. My wife was home after our youngest had been born. Advised not to put him in daycare. He's fine. I tell everybody, he was preemie, 6 weeks. He was 7'1". Right. He was kind of a freak show.
Yeah, I have one of those.
Yeah. And so this is all we do now, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey. I'm surrounded with great people. My team is the best, and they allow us to really, really take care of the client.
Where are you located, John?
We're at 6702 Buckley Road here in Syracuse.
Which means nothing. Wow. How about we say Buckley near 7th North?
Across from the old Colorado mining.
Right, up from there.
Actually, the Comfort Inn.
There's no Comfort there now because they're going to do something else.
Right next to that big monstrosity of a restaurant supply store.
That's right. Yeah,
it has some cool stuff in it, though. We're also at 200 Mullen Street in Watertown, and I've just taken possession of, but we won't be opening yet until mid-July probably, an office in Camillus.
Very nice. Where's that near?
3 Henry Beach Drive. It's right behind AmeriQ, kind of almost directly across from the Walmart Plaza.
Yes, very big Walmart over there.
Formerly the Steve McMahon Law Office.
Oh, was it?
For those people who are in Camillus and have done estate planning over there.
Which was similar kind of law, right? He did
exactly the same stuff. He was one of the forerunners, to my knowledge, in this area.
No kidding.
Back in the day when I was a young attorney, I looked at that and said, Medicaid.
There you go.
How are you doing that?
So that lets you maybe help people more conveniently from the west side of town, going towards Skaneateles and maybe Camillus and Marcellus without having...
Yeah, it's one of those weird demarcations like, you're way over there.
Right.
You're over there.
But you're really not, You're
not, but it seems that way for people.
Right. Because there's so many people on that side of town, you know? Like Steve just mentioned, you come from Marcellus and Skaneateles.
The lake's in the way, though. Onondaga Lake wasn't just like in the way.
If you got to go from here,
And particularly now, downtown's going to be some type of mess for 3, 4, 5 years with the 81 stuff. We just said, we can reach more people. We can make it easier. Steve, our current office on Buckley Road, we went through a lot to find an easy place to get to that you can pull in and park and walk into the office.
Yes.
You're not downtown trying to find a place to park. You don't have to worry about the meter. You're not walking over snowbanks that the city has.
It's only going to get worse with the construction, the deconstruction. I mean, it's not getting any better downtown, which makes it a challenge. So when you looked, I know it was like, we need a place where people can park by the door. That was like first thing, right?
Yeah, for our clients, right? We have a lot of older folks. We have some handicapped folks. Michelle, my associate, who we're going to get on here at sometime soon, I hope, is starting really branching out in special needs planning. So we're going to be doing a lot more people with disabilities and things. It needs to be easy. There's a lot of lawyers out there, and how do you separate yourself? We try to do it with the customer experience, how we treat people. When you walk in our door, it says, our family welcomes your family, and we always try to center on that concept.
So 2024, what are people doing wrong right now that would affect their finances?
Well, as far as my area of law, they listen to the wrong people. So we just had a call yesterday. Our realtor actually sent somebody to us, and mother-in-law is going in, may need nursing home care. Sure. May not, but worried about it. The family accountant said, make sure you start giving away the money. Which is the wrong thing if you're going to need Medicaid.
Right.
It's a great tax rule. IRS doesn't care if you give away some money, but Medicaid cares very much, and they could have caused them about 15 months of ineligibility by giving money away.
So that's bad advice, well-intended bad advice.
Yes. Yeah. It's just not knowing there's different rules.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
The accountants are in their world, financial advisors are in their world. We're in our world, which by its nature encompasses some tax and financial
How complex is it for someone to get an opinion from you or one of your case managers if they are in a space where they're like, I don't know?
Well, if you want a quick phone call, 15, 20 minutes, kind of air out what you got going, that's free. Mm-hmm. If you want to come in and speak with a case manager, we do charge a fee for that. But we'll put that fee towards any plan that you choose. Okay. So it kind of secures your place in the calendar. If you decide not to go forward or you don't really need us after that, it just pays for our time. Otherwise, we put it as a down payment.
Now that the weather is better up here, I noticed that a lot of people come back up from Florida, or if they have, they're snowbirds, they come back up here. Yep. Is now a good time, like, to get the elderly parents together and do this planning?
Today is always a good time.
Yeah,
so, every day. If they're here, let's get moving.
Right.
COVID did a lot of things, but one of the things that also did positively is it broadened up the possibility of continuing the planning process, even if somebody's not in the state temporarily. Through Zoom and things of that nature. Gotcha. So we have had people start here, we'll Zoom, and then when they come up, we do signing. But get mom and dad in, get going, get a plan. We just were on Bridge Street this morning. We're in the green room, and these people were talking about how this one person was supposed to get everything from her aunt, but evidently either her aunt never did a will, or somebody took it. But so she got nothing that she was supposed to get because, as well-intentioned as she might have been, everybody knows that Susie's supposed to get my stuff. Everybody wanted the stuff for themselves.
I know you do workshops on a regular basis. People can certainly call and get info, but you do have one for western suburbs of Onondaga County, maybe even Cayuga County and Auburn, July 10th.
Yes.
And they can how to protect your home and life savings if they want to come to that.
Yep.
But they also can call your office at 370-9977 and say, hey, that guy in the radio, can I ask a question or two? And then you won't charge for that.
Right. And if you're up north, we got workshops on Monday, Tuesday.
There we go.
Next week up in Watertown.
Up in Watertown. All at safeharborwillsandtrust.com. John Murphy, thanks for being here.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you. Have a great rest of the day.
You too.
Coming up next, we're going to talk with Ben Eberhardt. He is the co-director of the Mid-Lakes Navigation. That's that boat that's on Skinny Atlas that I think Steve's been barred from. But anybody else is more than welcome to go up there and check that out. It's going to be on the local show next on 570 WSYR.
The Local Show, featuring conversations with business owners, employees, and local business leaders about their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business. Right here in Central New York. The Local Show is locally produced by Zoey Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
So happy to have you along. I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Thanks for hanging out with Tom and Steve.
You're looking at me, Tom? You're looking at me?
No, I was all of them out there.
Oh, I thought that's what you...
I feel very pleased that they're all here with me. They buffer between you and me, right? That's good stuff, man. Yeah, it's good that everybody's hanging out. Beautiful weather we've been having, and I think that we're getting a little cooler this weekend, which is okay, right? A little reprieve, and then it goes back up and down. The ebbs and flows.
The lake temperatures to go up.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I want to be able to jump in the water or jump off the boat and not be like,
I've said that many times. I wish Steve would just jump in the lake. I'm with you on that one.
Did you used to swim off your boat?
Yeah, well, yeah.
I love that. Diving off the boat and stuff.
I used to do a lot of things off the side of my boat.
Yeah.
Some of which I got, yelled at for.
Would explain the condition of Oneida Lake currently.
Which is why I always have to clean the side extra special there. Look, it's our pleasure to bring out a new person to the show. His name is Ben Eberhardt. He's the co-director of Mid-Lakes Navigation up there on Skinny Atlas Lake. How are you, Ben?
I'm doing great. Thank you.
Ben, where'd you come from? I don't know you, I don't think.
I'm originally from Skinny Atlas.
Are you? Okay.
But I was gone for a long time. I was in the military.
Oh, what branch?
Army.
Well, thank you for your service. We appreciate that.
My pleasure. But I moved back to Skinny Atlas in 2020, right in the middle of COVID when we purchased the boats.
Good timing.
Yeah, it was. We walked right into a buzzsaw. So I've been back home for about, I guess, 4 years now.
Okay. Did you go to Skinny Atlas High School?
I actually went to CBA in the city.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, I was a CBA.
I'm a CBA boy.
Are you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I was the first of the 7th and 8th grade classes when they first implemented that. Now, because I'm 60 years old, but, way back then.
You don't look it.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Next to Steve, I look very young. Well, thank you,
brother.
brother.
I was class of 88.
Oh, were you? Okay, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, I would have been. I didn't graduate from there, but I would have been class of '82.
Okay.
So yeah, we could have crossed paths.
It's very exciting, gentlemen. Can we talk about boats?
Did you used to play handball in the back? Did you play handball?
Yeah. Play the handball back. Absolutely.
We're going to get to the Tom lap because they didn't have girls. He wanted girls at the school.
No, hey, look.
And he was from the Valley. Here we go. We'll just got to rhyme this thing.
We were the first graduating class with girls.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's fun. Yep. All right, so now you're back in the Cuse, and you're up there in Skinny House. What makes you want to buy boats and do that thing?
Well, my family's in the hospitality business, and my father, when I was moving back to town, he approached me. He said, "Look, we have an opportunity to do this. If you're interested, I can't think of anybody that could take this on except for maybe you." And I said, "Yeah, I'll do it." And
that's why I know your last name.
Yeah.
Because you guys own the
Sherwood Inn.
The Sherwood Inn.
The other place.
I was like, I know Eberhard, but where do I know it from?
Yeah. Yes. Use little words with Tom.
Yes, now I get it. Yes.
Yeah, so I, coming from the military, had the background with maintenance and all those kinds of things.
Right.
And so it was a little shift to get on the water. I went and got my Coast Guard license and my New York State license, master's license, and jumped in with both feet.
So you're a captain.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
Yep.
That's wonderful. Now, tell us, what can people find on the boats? Is it dinner? Is it corporate? Is it, what do you do?
Can you fish off the boats?
We get asked that a lot.
Fishing? Yeah.
I often thought about doing a fishing charter on the boat, but we can do just about everything. We do everything you just suggested. We have a la carte dinner cruises. We can do a private charter where we put out a beautiful spread on the boat. We do corporate parties. Those are real popular.
Yeah.
The big thing that we're seeing this year with, obviously, we're a big draw for weddings in Skaneateles. We have a lot of, they call them the reception party, where the boat actually stays at the dock for a while. People, as they come into town, they all show up, and then we get on and we'll go out and do a cruise. And
very nice.
And it's kind of the kickoff for the wedding weekend for the bride and groom. So that's a big thing we're seeing this year.
So does that make the boat unavailable for people on a Friday night that want to go on a dinner cruise?
It will. So what we'll do is we ask people to start booking in advance, and people will book way out. And then whatever's not booked up, we open up for the general public.
Okay. How many nights a week do you go out?
We'll go out as long as people want to go out. Last year we were doing dinners as early as Mondays and Tuesdays.
Okay.
And so we're starting to see it, it trends obviously towards the weekends, but as it fills up, people want to get on the boat, so it'll start to move back.
How many boats are there?
So we have 3 boats. We have the Judge Ben Wiles, which is a 65-foot steel double-deck boat. She was built in 85 by Peter Wiles and launched in 86. We have the Barbara S. Wiles, which was built by a gentleman named Lindsay up north in Alexandria Bay. And she is 45 feet, and she's a wooden boat, and that's our mail boat. That's the one we still run mail on the lake, all the way down the lake. And then we added a 3rd boat, which my family had originally owned, and we transferred it into our fleet, we'll call it. Is a 27-foot Chris Craft 1946 Sportsman, which is the same boat that was used, if you remember, you guys probably remember the movie On Golden Pond.
Oh, yes, of course.
The same wooden boat that Henry
found. The loons, Norman. Look at the loons. I remember that very well.
Exactly.
So do the boats all have food, or they're not food, or they're rides, or what are they?
We can do rides, which we will run sightseeing cruises during the day, which we offer snacks, and there's a full bar, and if it's real busy, the Barbara will go out as well. The Stephanie is more of a elegant, private, intimate thing, so that'll be like a small wine and cocktail cruise. Private charters. We do a lot of bride and groom photos on the Stephanie.
Oh yeah, that's a
very popular one. And then we're dabbling into new areas this year. We're trying to put together a couple of kind of social tastings with local breweries and wineries. And we're working on pairing with the Curd Nerd in Syracuse.
It's very good. We're friends with them. They were on the show.
Yep.
She does a great job.
We're working on trying to get a date with them to pair some wines with them from either Buttonwood or a new winery that started on Skaneateles Lake. And then I just literally got off the phone with Skaneateles Brewery. We're going to do a thing with them, and we're trying to get the Cheesefilled company from Baldwinsville to come out with their stuffed pickles and pepperonis. Have you seen those?
Yeah, yes.
They're fantastic.
It's wonderful.
So we're going to have him come out. Hopefully, we're working on dates right now.
Yeah, that's nice.
Do a beer pairing with so it's a social thing. It's not like a pairing dinner.
Right.
It's just a very relaxed.
When you have the dinners, are you cooking them right on the boat, or are they coming from the Sherwood?
No. So we have a separate kitchen that's right across the street down behind, if you know where the bridge is there in the middle of town.
Yes.
And you go down into the outlet.
You can fish there.
You can fish there. We used to jump off the bridge there.
Right. Okay. Just saying.
Now the cops kind of keep. But we have a kitchen right down there. It's all prepared there.
Yeah, nice.
And then we bring it across in hot boxes. We do have some heating capacity on the boat, but not a lot.
And the season is from when to when?
So I got in early this year. We were in before Mother's Day, which we were really excited to do. That was kind of our goal. But we did get a lot of work done on the boat. It looks great. And then we'll go until roughly mid-October. It really depends on the lake level. Obviously the city's drawing water off the lake, and it fluctuates with the rain levels. So it'll get to a point where we start getting a little too close to the bottom when we come into the dock. So usually it's around the second week of October.
It's a wonderful experience.
If you need to raise the level, Steve can always go in. He'll dive in, and that'll raise the level.
I remember Sarah and the Wiles family out there that owned it previously, and what a nice, classy operation.
Great family.
What an amazing thing that they did out there, and it was always a great experience going out on there. And so Mid-Lakes Navigation, is that the right?
It is.
MidLakesNavigation.com. People can see
Mid-Lakes Nav.
Mid-Lakes Nav. Okay. Yep. We'll go Nav. And people can go on and see it and maybe book a time or ask questions. Is that fair?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we're glad you're part of the community.
It was great to be here. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it.
Ben Eberhard right there, and you have a great rest of the day, okay?
Brilliant, gentlemen. Thank you.
All right, Steve, that's going to wrap things up. I'm sure all this boat talk has got you all jonesing.
It does. I think
I think that was a wonderful picture you showed me of your boat, that you actually cleaned it yourself. I'm proud of you.
I did that to impress you, Tom.
Yeah, very nice. Well, get out there. Enjoy yourself. Folks, on behalf of the local show, Zoey Advertising, and Tom and Steve, God bless you and your families. Make some time to relax and exercise today and every day. Do it with a friend or family member. It'll keep your mind and body healthy. The local show is heard every Saturday morning from 11 to 1, and then again on Sunday morning from 7 to 9. Listen together with a friend. Until next week, get down to business and keep doing business locally. Tell your friends about the local show right here on 570 WSYR 106.9 FM, the iHeartRadio app, and on YouTube at Zoey Advertising.